One, two. Good Wednesday night. I got to get into the word right here real quick. 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 1, that this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, haughty, high-minded, lovers of pleasures, more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away, for of this sort are they that which creep into houses and led captive silly women laden with sins, and led away with diverse lusts. Verse 7, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Now, verse 8, now as James and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds reprobate concerning the faith. But they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be made manifest unto all men, as theirs also was. There's a lot going on tonight. I just got in from preaching a message that will be on here probably in a few short hours or so. Begin to see some headlines that disturbed me a little bit, and it's got me on a rant a little bit. Disney. I covered this a little bit tonight. Elsa. The LGBT movement continues to grow at a all-time high, and they'll want to indoctrinate our kids with the homosexual agenda. Folks, we got a deep issue right here. No longer, the people don't have natural affection. People supporting this, let's just be honest, is perverts. That's what homosexuality is, a spirit of perversion. We love the sinner, but we hate the sin. It's strictly perversion. And I'm going to tell you right now, the deeper we go into the days of Lot, the more we are racing to the days of judgment. I don't care what Mr. Obama says. We're heading to that time. I just read where the nation of America is now getting ready to put up a monument to the LGBT movement. How further deeper in sin can we get? Now listen to this. In Boston, Massachusetts. Mayor Marty Walsh says a transgender pride flag raised Monday over Boston City Hall Plaza will continue to fly until everyone is equal under the law in Massachusetts. It wouldn't be hurt my feelings if a big windstorm go through there and blow that thing down. Shows you how perverse we are getting. Justice Department. This is that thing we call a president in Washington, D.C. His Justice Department. It ain't a Justice Department of it's a circus. It's a bunch of clowns running it. Challenges North Carolina's transgender law. Pretty much forcing to let these perverts go into the bathrooms with your children and your wives. I'm telling you, how much further can we go deeper into sin? That's things that's going on and on. It just blows my mind of the things that's happening right now before our very eyes. Truly, we are in the days of Lot. On that being spoken, let me just put it like this. Things are boiling around the world. Volcanoes are beginning to erupt in places around the world. There's fault lines that are I read an article today that talked about fault lines moving even in the southeast, at the crust of the earth is kind of something about it. It's decaying, and expect more earthquakes. Well, that don't surprise me, simply because Jesus talked about there'd be earthquakes in diverse places. Russia warns retaliation if NATO makes deployment in Eastern Europe. Okay, rumors of wars. Here's one. Have we got to a point now that even in our nation, in Indiana, first baby drop-off boxes for unwanted infants installed in Indiana? How sickening. How far can the parents go now? It just blows my mind. The things that's happening right around the world tells us Russia forming 3 new divisions to counter NATO build up. Turbola volcano in Costa Rica explodes 31 times in 10 hours. Ramallah conference calls for Egypt and Jordan to invade Israel. Yeah, good luck with that, guys. German defense minister calls for a European army. China warns America to back off. People don't believe these things are now beginning to parallel to where we are now approaching to what Paul called the catching away of the rapture of the church. And we're seeing the signs of the coming tribulation and the judgment of God that is beginning to show up in sign. Listen what's happening in Canada. Wildfire has invaded Fort McMurray in Alberta, Canada, forcing the entire city to be evacuated. Earthquakes, fires, you got floods. Dead whales, salmons, and sardines have washed ashore in Chile's Pacific beaches in recent weeks. Iranian commander threatens to cut close Strait of Hormuz to U.S. Folks, let's just put it like this. The handwriting is now beginning to be on the wall. We are simply approaching. Here's one that nearly needs to be brought out. U.S. on verge of losing Iraq completely to Iran. White House posed to create first monument to gay rights struggle. How much further, really? How much further can we get? That we want to put a statue of some perverts to celebrate them up there, but they want to remove the cross. And you want to know why this nation is in so much trouble tonight. You want to know why there's so much turmoil, so much heartache, so much violence, so much deceit, so much disasters that are happening. Because when you begin to glorify sin, you're going to invite the judgment of God upon a nation. I know there'll be some that won't believe this. They'll be mocking, but they mocked in the days of Lot, his son-in-laws, until Lot was removed and the fire and brimstone fell from heaven. They mocked Noah too. That's all right. The reality is it don't matter whether you believe it or whether you don't believe it. These things are telling us the end is here. This is it. This is playing out before our mind. Let me tell you something. If the Lord tarries in under 15 years, can you imagine the wickedness that would take place upon this earth? Can you imagine the terror that will, and the things that are happening before us, the ungodliness that is before our very eyes? And they sit down there telling us we've got to accept this, we've got to accept that. Listen here, Justice Department. Listen here, President. You ain't a mister. Let me tell you, you got that title for a few more months. I don't accept sin. I love that sinner. Hear this. They're trying to pass it where you cannot try to transform somebody's lifestyle. Let me tell you something. The gospel transforms lifestyles. The gospel transforms the homosexual lifestyle. An encounter with Christ. They're trying to say they're trying to ban some kind of law coming into effect. They're trying to stop you from having all this going on. Trying to stop you pretty much from preaching the gospel to those that's LGBT because they don't want them. They want them to be accepted in their lifestyle. I got a question. Would you rather for them to burn in hell, or would you rather for them to get saved and have their lifestyle transformed? I'd rather see them to get saved, because the reality is, whether you want to believe it or not, there is a place called hell. There is a place of eternal wickedness for the ungodly, the unrighteous. This is more of a rant tonight, but I'm telling you, these things are showing us before our very eyes. This thing's coming to a screeching halt. People are resisting the truth of the day like we've never seen before. Now, those natural affections, persecution of the church is coming. Oh well, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. I don't fear Islam tonight. I know they're a bunch of raving maniacs that serve some dead man who ain't alive. Jesus Christ is the one that's alive tonight. Jesus is the one upon the throne. Jesus is the one that's soon coming back. Every Muslim, atheist, Buddhist, whatever you are, will stand before him and give an account. Let me tell you, Justice Department, you ain't seen justice yet. You don't know the first thing about justice. Until you stand before the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, you'll bow to before him. Obama, you can mock the judgments of God all you want, but it ain't going to change the fact that it's going to take place. Liberal, atheistic, you've not won yet. It's not over. I read the end of the book. Holiness shall reign. He shall rule this world with a rod of iron. Thank God he's coming again. Thank God. Those that want separation of church and state, you're going to get it. It's called the rapture. Boy, you don't know what you're in for after that. The reality is, I see these headlines. Makes me just want to preach a little bit louder. It makes me want to rant a little bit more. It makes me want to think, where in the world has common sense gone? We've thrown it out the window because you're so politically correct today. Well, I'm not politically correct. If I hurt your feelings with the word of God, oh well. The fact is, you need to know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. The reality is, we're a nation that's going to hell in a handbasket. We're inviting, when we begin to make statues to promote, to celebrate the gay agenda, the transgender agenda, flying flags. You wonder, Lord, how much longer? The one thing I can promise, you ain't going to shake your fist in the face of God that much longer and think you're going to get away with it. You're not. He's going to show up. He is going to show up one night. You wonder what he's saying about the America right now. I wonder if it ain't too far gone. I wonder now if the seal of doom is not upon this nation. Church, get ready. Folks, get ready. The deeper in sin that you go, the more earthquakes, the more pestilence, the more disease you'll see come. You'll see it happen. Mark my words. The deeper in sin, the more pestilence to it sets up with the trump of God blowing. Then we know the rapture of the church. Then you ain't seen nothing yet until what takes place right after that. People you go around living as you want, preparing not like you want. You don't see what's going on. Guess what? You'll wake your eyes one day when it's too late if you don't see it now. The time to wake up, church. We are in the perilous times. Wars, rumors of wars, pestilence, earthquakes, disease, famines. People don't endure sound doctrine no more. There's a persecution rising against the church. I'm not talking so much over here, but I'm talking about, it's beginning over here, but not like it is in places where they can be burnt, beheaded for the gospel. Folks, I got a testimony. How far are we willing to stand for Jesus Christ? Are we willing to stand up and declare, thus said the Lord? Are we willing to stand up and declare the name of God in the midst of a perverted society, in the midst of sickening reprobates? That's all it is, sickening reprobates. Are we willing to declare, thus said the Lord? Folks, Jesus Christ is coming again. Jesus Christ shall come once more. He is coming to deliver his children. When his children are caught up, that I believe honestly it will be the same day that you will begin to see things like you've never seen before. Just that day or just a few days after. It'll be like you've never seen in the history of the world. The holiness of God will demand that he brings forth judgment. If God don't judge this world system and this country right now, then he would owe Sodom and Gomorrah an apology. But the fact is, he's going to judge it. People ain't looking, people don't believe him, but the reality is the signs are there. Obama to go after Christian colleges for believing the Bible. I just read that headline.